Why, hello everybody, how are you doing this fine day? Hope you're enjoying your week. Welcome to another survival challenge, in particular, a Warframe survival challenge. More specifically, an Infested survival challenge. And you might be wondering why I chose the Infested instead of any of the other crazy factions that exist within the Warframe universe. And I don't know, I like them. I like the Infested, they're fun to fight against. That's it, that's my only reason. I enjoy them. They've got a lot in common with a lot of these other infestation type races, some of which are going to appear on this list, but they're just different enough to be unique in their own right, and I like them. If you're new to the channel and you don't know what the fuck is going on and what the whole deal with this channel is, I take one universe, scenario, person, whatever, and I put 4 other things, universe, person, stuff, whatever, and I just like mix and match them. Like, how would they do in this situation? How would they do in this situation? So that sounds like something that's like fun. It's like a party, then you just stick around, you know? We got booze. But I'm wasting up your time. Let's get started. First things first, we have to go over the Infested, see what they're capable of, what can they do, how do their minds work, what will our survivors have to overcome when they come face to face with this faction. It feels like I just got finished talking about the Infested yesterday. Did I? I don't know. I don't really remember making the video yesterday, but I feel like I talked about it. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Because I've talked about it before, this would be the 3rd time, I'm just gonna give you like a basic rundown. I'm not gonna go into super hardcore detail because I've already done that in the past. So if you listen to my explanation of this video about the Infested and then you're like, oh, he missed this, then you go down and comment. I'm just saying, maybe check out those other videos and make sure it's something I actually missed and not something that I'm just sort of breezing over because I've already fucking said it. Cool? That's a deal. You signed a fucking blood contract by watching this video. That's how contracts work. So as I've already said, the Infested are basically like any other kind of infestation type things like the Flood and these other species that you've seen 1,000 fucking times before. For instance, a bunch of these infestation type factions spread through spores, right? It's very, very common. So do the Infested, but the difference is that the spores don't just affect people. They can affect people, they can affect guns, they can affect blunt objects like baseball bats or swords. Anything that the spores hit becomes better than it was before. People become stronger and faster, more durable, can spread the infestation themselves, but so do weapons. Guns actually upgrade and become more advanced if it has the infestation on it. So do swords. You can put it on a regular basic bitch sword, it will make that sword harder, stronger, sharper, and also give it various effects, usually the ability to spread a viral infection to other things. This is what the infection were originally designed to do by the Orokin. They were made to upgrade their technology, not to be this festering, spreading monster thing that kills people. That was on accident because the Orokin can't stop fucking up literally everything they put their hands on. They really suck. It's also, as of now, completely impossible to actually get rid of the infestation, as even in areas where the infestation has been completely eliminated, the infestation always comes back. Science cannot explain why it always comes back. It just does. If you're on a ship and that ship is covered in the infestation and then the infestation is gotten rid of and they go through and they firebomb the whole fucking ship, they have to then have dudes on the ship with flamethrowers at all times because the infestation will keep coming back and just appearing. So, you know, for those people, it's like job security. I'm just imagining like a bunch of dudes whose whole job is to just flame the shit out of the Infested, starting like a union and shit. It's funny. Makes me laugh. I think it's funny. Fuck you. They also have this really cool ability, which I think is super underplayed when people talk about this faction, that I don't think any of the other ones have, which is basically that any being that is infected by the Infested then copies its DNA, basically gets like a data scan of the thing that it infested, and then can create exact replicas of that thing. So like if the Infested show up, first time ever shown up in the universe, right? They show up, they infest one dude, and then they immediately find out what's going on, firebomb the whole area, kill the fucking thing, that's it. The Infested can then appear in that same area again, and then just start creating copies of that one dude infested, and before you even know it, you literally have tens of thousands or millions of this one dude. It's just exact replicas going around infesting other people. It also seems to have the ability to mix and match that data and put it into single beings. So like just in theory, let's say there's one dude who has like fire resistance and another dude who has like, I don't know, cold resistance. If the Infested affects both of those people, it can then create a copy-ish of that now has fire and cold resistance. This is how you get the big ass boss monster infested in Warframe. That's what the bosses are. They're just an amalgamation of a bunch of things they infected all put together. You also have the fact that the Infested seem to follow one particular mind. Like it's a hive mind, they're all connected. But even though on the surface they kind of appear to be stupid, they're actually highly intelligent, and throughout the series it's shown pretty clear that someone who's pulling the strings of the Infested is actually like a top tier level strategist who's capable of acting and reacting acting in the way that he needs to in order to overcome whatever wars or battles he's involved in. They're not just these mindless beings running around that you're slaughtering by the thousands, and that's all it is to it. It's a little more complicated than that. There's even this one storyline where this character becomes infected and then he gains his own mind and he starts talking to people, and this sort of breaks the lore because the whole idea is when someone gets infested, there's no way to come out of that. This guy's still infested, but he has his mind intact. And the ongoing theory, which I think at this point is kind of more than a theory, is that he actually didn't have his mind intact, but the infected were using him to trick the Tenno into getting what it wanted, which, yeah, this is pretty fucking cool. There's also many different strains of the infested, and each of these strains seem to act and behave differently. There's one strain that only goes after AI and robots and shit. There's certain strains that go after robots as well as biological creatures. There's some strains that take over architecture and really doesn't do a whole lot to people. Doesn't seem to really care about it all that much. There's one strain that's like a stealth strain that takes over people and then doesn't act differently at all. It's just exactly that person. And it just starts spreading the infestation to everyone in its vicinity, slowly taking over a planet without anyone there even realizing that they're there. So overall, I would say the infestation is a pretty badass fucking infection alien species. Can our survivors survive the infected? That was worded poorly. I don't like that. Can our challengers survive the infected? I don't know. I haven't made the video yet. I'm still making it. You're literally listening to me make it right now. Why are you even asking me? Fuck, god damn it. First up on the chopping block, we have the Furons from the Destroy All Human series. For shorthand, they're like dickless Martians that aren't from Mars. That is a wildly accurate description of what they are. So here's the thing. A Furon, specifically Crypto, because that's really the only combat-based Furon that we see, is more impressive than a Warframe in terms of his combat ability. Now hold up. Now chill out. Chill out, Warframe fans, okay? Chill the fuck out before you freak out and fucking start throwing shit. I am not saying Crypto is stronger, faster, or overall physically more powerful. In fact, it's shown pretty clearly that Crypto is weaker than normal humans. However, in terms of all of his crazy weapons and advanced technology, he can just do a lot more stuff than any Warframe can. Like, there are Warframes that can control time, manipulate antimatter, fuck with electromagnetism, open up portals to other universes, and freeze shit for some reason. What the fuck are you doing here? But generally speaking, Warframes are kind of a one-trick pony. When it comes to the powers they have, one Warframe focuses on one thing. They're really, really solid at one thing. Nyx is a really good telepath and psychic, so all of her powers are based around telepathy and psychic ability. She's still super fast and super strong, and as far as her physicals go, that's super, super impressive as well, but in terms of power and hacksy bullshit, she's got the one thing. That's how the vast majority of Warframes are. However, all of those powers that I just listed that those different Warframes have, Crypto's got all of them. Every single one. He can move shit with his mind as well as control people's minds. He can manipulate matter. He has antimatter. He can freeze time and call meteors down from space. He has this gun that can shoot like a plant seed that then turns into a giant kaiju plant, starts eating all of his enemies. He has such a wide variety of awesome technological abilities, which is why I think that pretty much any Furon who would have access to all this same technology should really be able to fuck with the infested the same way any Warframe can. Yes, their physicals aren't that great. Again, they're even less than yours and mine, but that doesn't matter because our weapons aren't even capable of hitting them because of their energy shields and jetpacks. They can literally fly around being more or less indestructible and then just fire all of this crazy shit down upon us. They don't even have to worry about running out of ammunition while they're up there because they have the ability to turn any matter into another matter, and they oftentimes use this to turn that matter into ammunition and then just telepathically bring it to them while they're up in the fucking sky. They are a very, very versatile alien species that can dominate most planets with ease. Having said that, they're first on this list for a reason, and I think they're gonna lose to the infested. Mainly for two reasons. One being their atrocious fucking numbers. It's a massive plot point in the games that the Furons are basically extinct at this point. Before the events of the game, they got into a war with this other alien race, I'm forgetting the name, some kind of radioactive species, and by fighting with them for as long as they did, it permanently fucked up the DNA of their entire species, and now they don't have dicks. Yeah, that's the actual plot point of the game, is that you gotta get your dick back. Not a joke. The second thing that basically guarantees the Infestation's victory is the fact the Furons, outside of their energy shields, doesn't really have anything to defend against the Infestation's infestation. They literally don't even wear helmets. I mean, again, they went to war with a radioactive species, and that radioactive species radioactivated them. It fucking got them covered in radiation and fucked up their DNA. I don't see any reason why microscopic spores wouldn't be able to do the exact same thing. Obviously, something gets through their energy shields because they could still breathe while it's up. So where's the evidence that these energy shields can keep out microscopic spores? And honestly, even if that wasn't the case, and it was very clearly shown that the energy shields the Furons have do defend against spores, it wouldn't really matter for Warframe because the toxins in Warframe are shown being able to bypass shielding. The Infested primarily use toxin and viral damage, and both of those things are infection toxin type things, like they're in the same pseudo category. The viral damage does not go through the energy shields, but the toxic damage does. So the game itself as a whole, Warframe does distinguish toxic damage from viral damage, which honestly should really be in the same ballpark, and their toxic damage does go through shield. So yeah, the Furons should actually be able to be hurt by these toxic damage even with their shields up. This means that the Furons might as well not even have the fucking shields up, and they're just flying around with no helmet, just completely exposed to the elements. There is no way that a massive war between the Furons and the Infested will not lead to at least some of the Furons getting infected. And when that happens, as I've said in the past, the Infested are capable of taking all of that bio information when they infest someone and creating copies of it, as well as improving upon whatever they infest, including the items that that person is carrying. So now you're going to have a bunch of infested Furons that are not only physically stronger, faster, has all of those biological abilities like telepathy and telekinesis, but you'll also get all of the crazy stuff I already mentioned, like matter manipulation, shit like that, that the Infested will now be able to use. So how exactly are the Furon going to win this? Now I will say this, if we're talking about taking Crypto himself and we're gonna throw him in like a city with a bunch of infested and he has to fly around, survive, and kill them all, can he do it? Yes, he can. 100%. He is capable. The problem is, on a grand scale with a war between these two, the Infested can just keep making more people. The Furons have no way of permanently putting them down, and the Furons have such small numbers that it really won't take that long to beat them all. So as much as I genuinely enjoy Destroy All Humans, and I really want a sequel, that's the type of game that we need now. Just a fun, crazy game where you can fly around and do whatever the fuck you want to a bunch of humans. Games used to be fun like that. What happened? Why can't I just do whatever I want in the fucking sandbox where I'm a giant alien who could blow dudes' heads up? Why can't I do that? The plot of this game was to get your dick back and fuck some hot-ass Russian spy bitch. What's wrong with that? We need that kind of energy back in games. Get fucking to it, Destroy All Humans. If you're enjoying the video, make sure to like, subscribe, comment, share, and join the membership. Remember, join the membership. You get exclusive access to videos that no one else can get. Just recently released a new one a couple days ago. It was a 2v2 debate I had live stream where I supported the Turians from Mass Effect and the other side supported the Elites from Halo. If you're interested in that, make sure to join the membership and go check it out. Also, don't forget to check down below at the pinned comment where there's a link to the Discord as well as my second channel. My second channel has any video that I want to make that is not particularly a survival challenge, but I am sure you're getting sick and tired of this ad. Let's get back to the video. Next up on the list, we have the Earth Defense Force. This one is so difficult. Oh man, what do I even do here? Okay, so you guys have heard everything I've said about the Infestation. Maybe you play Warframe, you already know everything about the Infestation, doesn't matter. Based on all that stuff I said before, or based on all the stuff that you know, what would happen if you put a faction up against that really isn't that much more advanced than like our civilization? The only difference is they have just a ridiculous, a fucking ludicrous amount of firepower. That's their only thing. It's the only thing they have. No other hacksy abilities, no like cool, like, oh, like this is interesting how they have this sort of thing, how this works. Nothing. It's just big fucking guns that blow up and destroy and completely eradicate anything in sight in all directions. An individual EDF soldier is not a glass cannon. He's a glass nuclear warhead. There are guns in this game. The early game basic bitch handheld weapons can completely destroy massive skyscrapers and huge mechs that are significantly larger than skyscrapers. And then endgame weapons can completely level several city blocks with a single shot. This is handheld weapons. I'm not talking about tanks or mechs or any of the crazy. This is just what they hold in their hand. One EDF soldier in Earth Defense Force can go into an underground cavern with thousands of giant ants that are the size of like 5 or 6 story buildings. And if you've only played a little bit of the game and you're thinking, well, the ants aren't that big, keep playing. The ones that are like the size of vans, those are the babies. If you keep playing through the game, you start to see the ones that birthed them, and they're like the size of several story tall buildings. And you could just go through there and just wreck all their thousands of them. You just fucking annihilate them all. I'm not gonna say that EDF is one of the most powerful factions in fiction or anything like this, but they do have probably the most powerful handheld weapons in fiction, second only to universes that literally use guns to kill gods. I really can't think of a genuine comparison outside of like Doom Guy using his guns to kill gods and shit. But even if you're just talking about pure destructive force, EDF has Doom beat. Think about that for a second. There is not a single Warframe that exists that would not be instantly obliterated by one of the in-game EDF weapons. There is no evidence of durability high enough to do so. The EDF are no fucking joke. However, that's the only thing they have. Literally, that's it. So when it comes to fighting something like the Infestation, I mean, is it possible for them to do anything? When it comes to them just fighting giant crazy monsters and aliens and kaiju, yeah, you could fight a fucking kaiju in this game and kill them with, again, just basic handheld weapons. They got that shit. They were on it. Like a big ass group of black dudes on your mom with their fucking huge black schlongs, just all up inside the woman that birthed you. Dad sitting in a corner with a big frown, just being all sad about it. What was I talking about? But is that really enough? I mean, we know they have the heat-based weaponry that they need to defeat the Infested. They can kill them, and they can kill them in very, very large numbers. But, like, can they avoid getting infected by them? Can they avoid their mechs getting infected by them? Also, this is an important factor. If we're putting the Infested on Earth of Earth Defense Force, are we also including all the other monsters and shit that live there? Because in Earth Defense Force, there's fucking billions of ants that live inside the planet. Giant fucking ants that are just there. They're just permanent residents. As far as we know, they haven't all been wiped out. It's just a constant threat they have to deal with. So when the Infestation shows up, do they have to even infect the humans, or can they just affect the other shit that's on the planet? Because it's a planet that is constantly invaded by aliens and monsters and all kinds of wild fucking science fiction bullshit. So couldn't the Infestation just take over any of that science fiction bullshit and just make stronger versions of them? I think this is going to become something kind of similar to what I said about the Furon race, where if you take one EDF soldier that can kind of try and avoid infection and fight back and kill them and do that whole thing, I think he can survive an individual fight with a bunch of them at once and possibly get out unaffected. But if you increase the scale large enough and you have an entire planet that an Infestation can just go crazy on, and a massive army of dudes, the odds of none of them getting infected basically become zero. And all it's going to take is for one of them to get infected. And again, when one of them get infected, the Infestation can just make an unlimited army of that person and all of his weapons that are more powerful than the ones that EDF have. And then that's it. They're just fucking done. You see what I mean when I say the Infestation is just kind of broken? There aren't that many things that can overcome this bullshit. If you would have asked me 5 minutes before I made this video, what is a faction that can overcome the EDF? I'd only be able to name a couple. There aren't that many. These dudes' guns are that fucking awesome. But here come the Infestation just finding an in, sliding in that back door like all those black guys did to your mom. Next up, we have the Flood from Halo. I know I said the EDF was gonna be hard. This one is gonna be way harder. Like, so much harder. Like, you'd think your mom was having trouble taking it before. You know, I'll be honest with you, I have no idea why I'm roasting your mother so badly. I mean, it's just, you know, she didn't call me back. God damn it, I fucking miss that bitch so much. So I feel like the most difficult part of having this discussion is basically how are we gonna deal with the whole fact that there are both infections that infect other people and bring them into the hive mind and become stronger. Like, what happens when 2 infections come face to face? Which infection will overtake the other infection? Because both of these infections are shown being able to overtake other infections and overtake literally everything they come into contact with. So saying that one can overcome the other is basically just massive amount of guesswork. And I do actually have an answer for this that I think is a pretty cool conclusion. But before I come to it, we'll just shortly talk about like what it would be like if they didn't, you know, come together and the infections didn't affect one another. How would that go? And this one's kind of difficult because on one hand, the Flood infects more at a faster rate, but the Infestation is significantly harder to get rid of permanently, basically impossible to get rid of permanently, and the things it infects, it actually improves upon and makes gets more powerful. So you will have a consistent, more powerful army on the Infestation side, but a far larger, more varied army on the Flood side. Basically, that's all you can really say. Like, let's just say hypothetically you release both of these infections on opposite sides of a planet and you just let them spread. The Flood is going to get past the halfway point way before the Infestation does. And it's going to have this massive army. The Infested might only take over like 25% of the world, while the Flood takes over like 75% of it. But that 25% that it took over is going to be like the most beefed up, brawny fucking versions of those characters in a way that the Flood really won't be able to compete with. But then the numbers won't be able to overcome because the Infestation can literally just keep creating more. Every single person it infects, it keeps a database of it and then can just create perfect copies of those things. So while the Flood will initially take over shit a lot faster and outnumber the Infestation, it's really just a matter of time before the Infestation creates enough copies of the people that it did take over that it matches the number that the Flood did, even overcoming it and having more people. So I guess in that regard, the Infestation wins because it literally has a limitless number that it can just keep producing over and over. The Flood can't do that, but it also can't be permanently wiped out. Like, even if the Flood somehow did kill them all and then wiped out all of the existing Infestation and the Infestation little fucking bubble things that appear that release the spores, destroy them all, those spores will still appear again even though they've eliminated them all, which won't happen if the Infestation wipes out the Flood. If the Infestation wipes out the Flood, they're just gone. They've been wiped out. They can't just reappear out of nothingness like the Infestation can. That, as well as the fact that the Flood's people are going to be limited by whatever it can take over. It can take over machines and technology and people, but it can't create new machines and technology and people. So once those things are dealt with and destroyed, that's it. It's fucking over. That's not the case for the Infested. So I feel like if this goes on for an unlimited amount of time, it's only a matter of time before the Infested wins because you literally can't beat it and it can literally make an infinite number of things. But I will say that right out the gate, the Flood is a better infection. So yeah, this is kind of a strange yet pretty fascinating one. They both had their strengths in different areas. I just think the Infestation strengths are in better areas than the Flood strengths. However, I will say that's not what I think is going to happen. You see, I said it up prior. I said I was going to tell you what would happen if they came, and now I'm doing it here. That's like fucking foreshadowing and shit. Didn't even write that. That's just off the cuff. Fucking eat your heart out, eat Cheerios, Oda. No, what I actually think is going to happen is the same thing that happens when any of these viruses, diseases, infestations kind of come into contact with one another. I think they're going to mutate and they're going to fuse. I think you're going to have a Flood Infestation fusion and they're going to become the same thing. You're basically going to have an Infested that spreads way faster. It can now corrupt way more things, and a Flood that can now just continuously copy and make more shit, as well as be completely impossible to wipe out permanently. Whichever side you're on, you can fucking choose which one's the winner in that one. But basically, both of these infections are just going to become one, and they will just fuse their hive mind to become one super hive mind infection, which honestly, I think that's probably like the best of both worlds for both of them. Bad for everybody else. Everybody else is fucked, but that'd be really cool for them. I guess we'll call this one a tie, unless someone thinks that that's not the case. I mean, I don't see any reason why that wouldn't happen personally. I mean, that's literally what happens in real life when different diseases come into contact. That's how certain diseases are literally created. You have multiple diseases come into your body at the same time, and oftentimes they will mutate and create new diseases. That's a real thing, and these are fucking crazy over-the-top future sci-fi diseases that also adapt to their surroundings and the things that they come into contact with. So I think fusing is probably going to be what's best for both of them, and they'll just fucking do that. And they also have the exact same goal. They both just want to take over everything. So why the fuck not? What would be the downside of fusing? Because they want to share their already shared hive mind with another infection? Why would that be a downside? Yeah, no, this is really fucking cool. I like this. I'm liking this one a lot. Last but certainly not least, we have Azric's Demon Horde from Doom the Dark Ages. And the question that I really need to ask in this section is, why? Why won't this bitch call me back? You're her son. Will you fucking talk to her or something? Like, the fuck did I do? I gave this bitch everything. A lot of people have seen my channel before. More specifically, the Doom videos that I've made probably more or less already knows where this is going. They think that Doom's gonna win. They're gonna win easily. They're gonna just completely mow down. It's gonna be no big deal. And I mean, that's not necessarily the case. We're not doing the Doom Eternal demons where they're fucking god beings. We're doing the Doom the Dark Ages demons, which are considerably less powerful. Remember, this is before they teamed up with the Con Maker, before they had all that crazy technology added to their own, before they imbued themselves with Argent energy, This is before all of that. So they're considerably weaker, and they don't have nearly as potent hacks as they would later on in the series. Things like corruption. They still have corruption, but the corruption isn't nearly as powerful. Later on, it shows that the corruption could literally take over whole universes in a very short amount of time, whereas in Doom the Dark Ages, after years and years of fighting, they've only been able to take over a couple of people here and there with the corruption. It's a lot more limited here. The whole thing about the Infested being weak to heat is a really big deal if they're fighting the Doom Eternal demons, because their entire body is filled with Argent, which is a superheated energy source. Well, they don't have that here. Are they hotter than normal people? Probably, but there's really not enough evidence for us to say that they're so hot that they cannot be infected by the Infested. So the Infested do have somewhat of a chance here. Does that mean they're gonna win? No, they're gonna lose, but it's gonna be a better fight. And really the main reason why they're gonna lose isn't because this is a ridiculously one-sided, thing where they're fighting dudes who they can't possibly compete with. It's because everything that the Infested do, the Doom demons do just a little bit better. The Infested go around and infest people, control them, make them more powerful, bring them into the hive mind, and then force them to go around fighting people. Literally the exact same thing the demons do. And in some cases, with some demons, they can do it quite a bit faster. At one point in Doom the Dark Ages, we see Azaric take over a Maker drone, and using that Maker drone, sharing a mind with that Maker drone, he's able to use his body to kill like 20 other Maker drones. This shows very clearly that Azaric taking over somebody else's mind is 1, instant, 2, has a range that it can cross over universes because he was in hell and the drone was in a completely different universe, but also the drone became significantly more powerful than the other drones because again, he was able to kill like fucking 20 of them by himself. There are also demons that have shit like soul manipulation. We've seen Azaric bring people back from the dead after they've died. Demons have the ability to control their own souls, even jumping out of their bodies to possess people, and just a lot of shit that the Infested don't have. Like for instance, we know that the Infested have souls, and we know this because Warframes like Necros and Saragoth and Revenant can control souls, and they can do it to the Infested. If you're Necros and you want to fucking absorb a soul or whatever while you're fighting a dude, you can do it to an Infested. We don't know if that soul belongs to that Infested or if it belongs to whoever that person was before they were infested, which by the way, if it does belong to the person and not the Infested, that's fucked up because that person didn't do anything to him. That person was just mind his own business, then he was infected by the infestation, and before he knows it, some asshole Warframe comes over and starts ripping his goddamn soul out and absorbing it for his own powers. Like, what the fuck? I didn't do anything to you. I'm just an innocent bystander. I'm a victim, and here you come fucking up my soul. That's eternity, bitch. The demons themselves, much like Necros and shit, have power over souls. We see within the series that demonic magic has the ability to just straight up destroy fucking souls. That means every single time someone uses demonic magic, which is most characters in this game, they have it. Anytime they use it against an infected, even if the infected's body doesn't die, they might destroy its fucking soul. When the infestation actually does take over a demon, it's very possible that that infestation is going to be corrupted to join the demon's side. It might take a little bit longer to happen in Doom the Dark Ages than it did in Doom Eternal, but it's still gonna happen. I mean, even this early on in the Doom timeline, the corruption was still inevitable. It was still taking over whole universes since before the beginning of time. Just because it becomes far more potent later doesn't mean that it's not fucking effective now. Also, the fact that demons themselves are far more numerous than the Infested, and yes, I know the Infested can just keep making more and more and more, so you can argue that they're limitless, but they're not really limitless. They can just make a lot of people continuously forever. They can never truly be limitless. The demons are actually truly 100% infinite in the numbers that they have. Now, while I'm not going to argue that Azaric's forces are limitless, it's enough to go to war with several universes. By comparison, the Infested haven't even fully taken control of our entire solar system. One fucking solar system. They haven't done it. They haven't been able to do it. They've been fought back for over 1,000 years because the Infested got out after the old war, which was over 1,000 years ago, and still, after 1,000 years, has not successfully taken over one solar system. And I'm supposed to fucking believe that they can take over all the demons in the entire universe, despite the fact the demons use soul-destroying magic and hellfire, and the Infested are weak to heat. Yeah, I don't see that happening, man. What I see happen is the demons fighting against the Infested, and very oftentimes killing them, but also occasionally getting controlled, and the Infested numbers are going to grow. They're going to make copies, demon versions that are more powerful than the original versions, all this kind of stuff. And it's going to happen for a little bit. And I do think Azaric's going to have some trouble actually getting rid of it. But eventually, given enough time, the corruption will set in, and the Infested will become just a part of the demon horde. The Infested itself might become like a demon lord level character where it's not just one being, but it's treated as one being. Like, this is the demon lord. We call him the Infested. And he's just countless fucking little demon dudes from multiple universes that is now jumping across these universes, infecting more people for the greatness of, you know, hell and Jakad. And it could be like this cool thing where Doom Guy goes to kill the demon lords and he kills them, but he just can't fucking kill this one demon lord because it's not just one dude. And maybe the demon lord might even like start talking to him and shit. Because we do know that the Infested is actually very intelligent, despite the fact that it doesn't really seem intelligent most of the time. It very clearly uses strategy and manipulation when it tries to take shit over. So like, I would like to see what a demonic version that is serving the greater whole of the demons as like part of the whole, not just the whole itself. How would that being interact with the other demon lords and other people within Hell's army and Doom Guy once it comes in contact? We may actually see like a hive mind being that actually decides to stop for a second and have a conversation with people. That can actually give us some really fucking cool. Actually, you know what? I don't think Hugo Martin watches my videos, but I know he watches a lot of Doom shit on YouTube. If he's watching this, you can take that fucking idea. Not the Infested thing, but like a demon lord that's a hive mind, like a miniature hive mind, who's actually several different demons who all share the same mind, and like he can communicate with Doom Guy, and then Doom Guy will fight him and kill him, and he'll be like, who gives a shit? This is just one body, bro. I got millions of these bitches. And it can be like an ongoing thing where it's like every game you gotta fight this fucking dude again, but it's just a different body, and he just becomes like this constant annoyance. It doesn't have to be like a big bad boss, like end of the series situation, but he's just this constant, almost like a rival, like a constant rival that you have to fight, like one boss fight. And every boss fight with him, he can look totally fucking different because he's a hive mind. So he could be a totally different boss fight every time he shows up. Hell, you can even bring something back similar to the spirit mechanic from Doom Eternal, where the spirits would go and possess certain people and you would have to fight them and they were super strong. Maybe certain demons would show up and their eyes would glow a certain color and you just know like, oh, that's this fucking dude. That's a part of that hive, and maybe he'll like say things to you while you fight him in the middle of a fight or something. I don't know. He could be like a cool overpowered version of an already existing demon, but like with a personality and character and shit that just keeps popping up to irritate the shit out of you every time he shows up. But, you know, make him cool. Don't make him like annoying. I mean, obviously add your own little Doom flair to it, you know. Don't just make it like a normal hive mind. Make it like a badass fucking metal album cover Doom hive mind thing. But I don't know. It's a cool idea. I think it's a cool idea. You can have it. Not gonna say anything. I'm gonna close my eyes and pretend I didn't say anything. It's badass. I think it's badass. People go down in the comments and tell Hugo Martin that's a cool idea. But oh yeah, the Doom demons win. But that's gonna be all from me. Hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment, share, and join the membership. Remember, join the membership. You get exclusive access to videos that nobody else can get. And don't forget to check down below in the pinned comment where there will be a link to the Discord as well as the second channel where I have other things. There will very likely be a review of Fantastic Four First Steps on there once I see the movie. I haven't seen it yet. And always remember, y'all stay safe out there, you hear?